Technoblade is canonically a child on the Dream SMP, in fact around 3 years old. Yeah, it's a bit of a weird thing to say, right? Well, last night Technoblade went onto his Discord server and talked to a bunch of members in there, and in it he spoke about how the festival was a bit of a scam because everybody's blamed him and called him a traitor, even though there was a lot of things up with it. But there was also a talk where he says that he's canonically 3 years old in the story, which is something kind of interesting, I guess, because we've never really known the ages of any of the characters, and a lot of us just assume that it's going to be the same ages as the actual people. But him saying that they're 3 years old kind of makes you think, what are the other ages of the members or the characters? Because really, somebody could be 1,000 years old and somebody could be 0. I mean, probably not 0, but you get what I mean. I'm rewatching Tommy's POV of the festival, and if I'm understanding this correctly, 1, Wilbur rigged the entire festival area with TNT and planned to blow up Manberg and everyone in it when Tubbo said the signal phrase, "Let the festival begin." 2, Tommy and Tubbo were both aware of this plan. 3, Wilbur directly acknowledged to Tommy that allies would die, brackets Nikki and myself, but that he didn't care. 4, none of the 3 made an attempt to warn us. 5, Wilbur had doubts and told Tubbo it was up to him to say the signal phrase or not. 6, Schlatt asks Tubbo if he has anything left to say, and Tubbo says let the festival begin. But my character is considered the bad guy and the traitor for not 1v20ing Manberg to save a guy that ordered my death 5 minutes ago. This is the biggest scam of all time. And I mean, we haven't really looked at the festival for a very long time, so looking at it from this point of view really explains quite a lot and gives you a different perspective on everything. Basically what he's trying to say is that if Wilbur or Tubbo or Tommy had actually talked to Nikki and Techno, then they wouldn't actually be in risk and they wouldn't get blown up, and things would have kind of been a lot better and Technoblade would have still been on their side and helped them with this whole thing. But because Wilbur didn't tell anybody other than Tommy and Tubbo, things got a bit messy and ended up with Technoblade becoming the sort of traitor, even though he was the one who was actually going to get blown up in the whole process. Because Wilbur did tell Tubbo beforehand that if he does say the signal word, then Nikki and Techno were probably going to die, which means that for Tubbo to actually destroy Manberg, he'd have to kill a few of his friends, which ain't the greatest plan, and would have all been sorted if they just had a little bit of a chat. But yeah, at the time, it was all kind of one-sided, and nobody chose to take a look at the perspective of Techno, who was basically going to die from his own friends and team. But because of all of this, it ended up Techno being called a traitor and the bad guy because he chose to go against everything. And obviously, he didn't want to save people who wanted him to die. And this is where we move on to Technoblade calling his character a child, because it's kind of funny that everybody got killed by a child, I guess. I don't know, let's move on. I always dislike the age arguments. I think I will make my character canonically 3 years old so that I can win all debates from now on. Guys, Manberg literally executed a baby. Kinda messed up, That baby was a terrorist? Listen, he's young. Yeah, I don't really have much else to say on this. I think it'd be funny if it was kind of actually a thing that they tried to add into the story, that somehow Techno is just some 3-year-old who has insane skill and going around murdering half the server all the time. I think that's a great character arc, and I think that makes the story a lot more interesting now, because we can literally have a look on any of the events and put in the perspective of that Technoblade is a kid. Everything makes it a lot more weird and kind of funny. Like Dream had to rely on a 3-year-old kid to break out of the prison. Yeah. BBH points of view. The alarm suddenly went off and now Sam's making me fight a baby? Why is the baby beating me? Techno then goes on to talk about this more with some of the members, and Sept says the clip doesn't actually show who's in the call at the time, so I don't know if it's just Wilbur and Tubbo, but there's no reason for either people of Clingy Duo, which is I think Tommy and Tubbo, to believe that Techno doesn't know the plan. And Techno responds with saying, alright, I'll give this point to the Tubbo defenders since Wilbur lied to him about Techno knowing. I don't know about Tommy though, since Wilbur straight up told him that Nikki was going to be a casualty like 15 minutes prior, and then moves on to say, looks like I'll have to fully embrace my destiny as a Tubbo stan, and then says, wait, 5 minutes before this, Wilbur told Tubbo, you're actually the only person I've told the plan aside from Tommy. Somebody called the law referee. Basically meaning that both Tubbo and Tommy should have known that they were the only two who got told the plan, and when they were mentioning that Nikki and Techno could die, meaning that they didn't know the plan. Anyways, check out the video which is on screen. We talk about some massive theories, so it's a must watch, and go to skelly.shop if you want any merch.